Because of COVID-19, this Brooklyn Catholic school has over 120 new students this year. I'm Emily Drooby, and I'll explain.
Tonight on Currents News, are Catholic school classrooms filling up? Plus this. New York is seeing positive cases of COVID-19 surge past 3% for the first time in months, with clusters popping up in Brooklyn and Queens. What's the city doing about it? And
has your parish gone above and beyond during the pandemic? Well, now it can win an award. I'm Jessica Easthope, and coming up, I'll tell you how.
Then the candidates are courting the all-important Catholic vote. A look at tonight's presidential debate is ahead. The news starts right now. Good evening, I'm Christine Persichetti. Today is the first day of school for 500,000 public elementary school students across New York City, a start date marred by delays. But some parents didn't want to wait, instead opting to take their kids out of public schools and into Catholic schools. Currents News' Emily Drooby takes a look at this growing new trend.
Helen's son is thrilled to be at school.
We love it. We are very happy.
He and his brother just transferred from a public school to St. Joseph the Worker Catholic Academy in Windsor Terrace, Brooklyn.
It was very good for them to be in school every day. One, because he has a lot of energy and a lot of eager to learn, the one in first grade, and the other one because he has a speech delay. So we thought for him it was good to be with peers so he could develop his learning capacities.
Helen wanted her children to be in class, and while Catholic schools have been in session for weeks, New York City's public schools in-person learning was pushed back twice. Principal Stephanie GERMANN says they've seen about 125 kids come to St. Joseph the Worker from public schools this year.
The hybrid model doesn't work for many parents, especially if they have small kids in kindergarten, first grade, and they don't have access to childcare.
Many parents felt their kids were struggling to keep up because of distance learning, like Molly.
Morning, girls.
My second grader is struggling to read because we spent 6 months struggling. And even now, I just see her in 2 weeks in school, and she's really back on track and, getting her literacy rate up, which is amazing for me as a parent to see that.
While St. Joseph the Worker has seen perhaps one of the most significant enrollment jumps, they're not alone. Just last week, the Diocese of Brooklyn registered 274 new students, an abnormal number for this late in the year. School officials believe those kids came from public schools. This uptick comes during a difficult time for Catholic education. In 1970, there were about 11,000 Catholic schools in the country. That number has dwindled to about 6,000. Low enrollment is one of the main contributing factors. In the Diocese of Brooklyn this year, the population in 40% of their schools has either grown or stabilized. Now, officials believe this new public to Catholic school trend is a main reason for the change. In Windsor Terrace, Brooklyn, Emily Drooby, Currents News.
As students head back to the classroom, New York City's COVID-19 numbers are climbing. Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing that the positivity rate is now above 3%. 9 coronavirus clusters scattered across Brooklyn and Queens are to blame. Health officials are reaching out to the affected communities to ramp up testing. The mayor calling the situation serious and saying all options are on the table. In an effort to curb the growing numbers, the mayor's office is sending hundreds of city staffers into affected neighborhoods to pass out masks. If people refuse to wear a face covering, they will be fined. The mayor is also threatening to close private schools and non-essential businesses in those areas and limit gatherings to no more than 10 people. The New York numbers come as the world reaches a grim milestone during this pandemic. More than 1 million people have died globally from COVID, according to Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. is the highest contributor to that number, with more than 205,000 recorded deaths. Tonight, face-to-face for the first time in the presidential election, President Donald Trump versus former Vice President Joe Biden in a debate that is set to begin in just a few hours. Nadia Romero reports on what we can expect from the election showdown.
It's a moment both candidates, campaigns, and millions of Americans have been waiting for.
I am looking very forward to the debate.
Tonight, President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden will go face-to-face in Cleveland in the first of 3 presidential debates.
What do you have to do to win the debate?
Just tell the truth.
The question tonight, will either candidate land a strong enough blow to sway undecided voters? The debate will feature 6 15-minute segments, including the Trump and Biden records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in our cities, and the integrity of the election. The president will likely also be asked about the recent New York Times report showing he paid no income tax in 10 of 15 years, beginning in 2000.
Voters care more about who is the better candidate to protect their jobs, to continue to grow the economy. This is a pre-debate tactic that they tried in 2016.
For President Trump, it's a key moment to make headway with Americans, as most recent national and swing state polls show Biden with an edge.
The president's focused on the issues. He's focused on the American people right now, bringing back the economy.
For Biden, it's an opportunity to directly call out the president and make his pitch to voters for a change.
He needs to push back where it's appropriate, but mostly he needs to talk to the American people.
Fox News anchor Chris Wallace will moderate. In Cleveland, I'm Nadia Romero.
We'll take a look at the importance of the Catholic vote in this presidential election coming up. But first, an issue coming to light about one way some voters plan to cast their ballots. Some voters in Brooklyn say they've been getting absentee ballots that have the wrong name and address on them. This is causing some to lose confidence in the election system and could lend support to President Trump, who has been critical of mail-in ballots. The president's Supreme Court nominee on Capitol Hill today, meeting with GOP senators. If confirmed, conservative Catholic Judge Amy Coney Barrett would fill the seat left vacant by the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She started her day with Vice President Mike Pence and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who are hoping for a swift confirmation. Some Senate Democrats, on the other hand, refused to meet with Barrett. Democrats in the House are pushing for a new COVID relief package. The $2.2 trillion bill was unveiled today. It would provide another round of $1,200 relief checks, bring back the $600 unemployment benefit, provide money for schools and grants for restaurants. But it is unlikely to pass in the Senate. The U.S. Bishops' Conference and officials at several nationwide Catholic organizations have sent a letter to congressional leaders and President Trump urging them to pass a new COVID-19 aid bill. During the pandemic, staying connected to our church communities has been more important than ever, and now some parishes are being recognized for those efforts. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has the story of one church in the Brooklyn Diocese that's been nominated for a Parish Excellence Award.
These days, sending an email is as simple as it gets.
Ask people to sign up for that webinar that they're doing.
Transfiguration St. Stanislaus Kostka Parish is an example of just how much of an impact emails can make.
It's kind of hard to imagine how something that we were doing so simply got national attention. This is one email.
During the pandemic, Monsignor Joseph Calise sent out daily emails to his parishioners, a gesture that got him nominated for a Parish Excellence Award.
The message might simply be, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you. Nothing extravagant, nothing fancy, but just that simple concern.
The national awards are for parishes that are going above and beyond during the pandemic.
Well, technology is making it very easy this year.
Scott Landry, the founder of Parish Excellence, says the purpose of the awards is not only to highlight what some parishes have done, but inspire Catholics everywhere.
Now is the right time to try to identify what is really working in certain parishes that should be shared with everybody.
It really all pulled together.
For Michael Edmonds, Monsignor Calise's emails were a source of hope.
I got goosebumps. It was really what it's all about. It gave us faith. It gave us confidence that, it's going to get better. And it did.
Knowing the daily emails made a difference and inspired parishioners to help each other, Monsignor Calise says he's already won.
When you see the Christ-like response that people have to loving one another. Pray with us as we pray for one another. You realize the message of the gospel is still alive.
Nominations are being accepted online until October 19th. The Parish Excellence Awards Summit will be held virtually starting the week of November 9th. In Maspeth, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Think your parish has stood out? Nominate your church as well as check out other categories at parishexcellence.com. Again, that's parishexcellence.com. There's a lot more news headed your way. Catholics could be the deciding factor in this year's election. We'll take an in-depth look at how the candidates are courting Catholics in key swing states. And this year's annual Al Smith Memorial Dinner is going virtual. Both the president and Joe Biden have been invited. Will they attend? Plus, I sit down with a local treasure here in the Diocese of Brooklyn, the Tablet's Ed Wilkinson, retiring after half a century with the celebrated newspaper.
Now you can help us put your faith in the news. The next time you capture a newsworthy event, send us your pictures or video. It's easy. Go to netny.tv/send us, and you may see your submission on Currents News.
This year's election could turn on a critical voting bloc, the Catholic vote. But many Catholics are divided on the issues and the candidates. One thing's for sure, Catholics who live in key swing states will have a huge impact on who the next president will be. It seems that Catholic voters know how to pick a winner, whether Republican or Democrat. They've gotten it right almost every time since FDR. Dwight D. Eisenhower, the only exception.
They always seem to land on the winner when it comes to presidential elections.
This election, the Catholic vote is as important as ever, especially in pivotal swing states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio, where Brian Brown, professor of political science at St. John's University, says the election is expected to be decided.
When it comes to swing states, especially states with a significant Catholic population like Pennsylvania or Ohio, they're always sought after voters when it comes to an election.
Catholics make up 23% of the electorate, the largest religious denomination in the country, according to Gallup analysis. But Catholics do not vote as a cohesive group, making their votes critical and up for grabs.
The Catholic vote today is so diverse, wonderfully diverse, as is the Catholic Church, but also so polarized that it's really hard to predict.
Gallup data shows that white Catholics who are active in the church and lapsed Catholics tend to vote Republican, while Hispanic Catholics lean Democratic. But as the Hispanic community continues to grow in key states like Florida, David Gibson, the director of the Center for Religion and Culture at Fordham University, is now seeing that vote becoming more fractured.
You can't lump all Catholics together. In Florida, you have Cuban exile emigres, you have more recent immigrants from other parts of Latin America. They have very different views, also very divided, so they can provide the real momentum that's either going to carry the state for Donald Trump or for Joe Biden.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death is also a factor, leading the presidential candidates to retool their strategies on abortion.
You will see the rhetoric get a little uglier, a little more extreme and intense. But I think when push comes to shove, this has always been a policy issue.
Amy Swearer with the Heritage Foundation, a D.C. think tank that helped assemble the list of potential Supreme Court nominees, thinks President Trump's pick will resonate with Catholics.
I think anything having to do with those individual liberties, I think is what's going to appeal most broadly to the largest number of people.
Both camps have fired up teams to go after the Catholic vote, but the candidates too are divided on a host of Catholic concerns. President Trump is solidly anti-abortion, which could attract single-issue Catholics, while Catholic candidate Joe Biden is not. On social issues like immigration, climate change, health care, and the death penalty, the Democrats' platform is more appealing to multi-issue voters.
There's no perfect system, church-ordained political system. But our constitutional democracy allows us to have these open and informed debates and elections in which we each take responsibility for the outcome.
The first debate is expected to be even more revealing as the candidates answer questions about their records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, and race relations in America. While there isn't a Catholic vote per se, the impact of their vote is undeniable. Brian Brown will be back with us to break down the first presidential debate tomorrow. Be sure to stay with Currents News for everything you need to know about this election. President Trump is set to speak remotely at the New York Archdiocese's 75th annual Al Smith Dinner tomorrow night. The Archdiocese said they also reached out to Joe Biden and look forward to having him there. Because of COVID, the event will be entirely virtual. This year's foundation dinner is dedicated to frontline and essential workers. The Justice Department is weighing in on mask restrictions in San Francisco, saying they may be unconstitutional. Indoor masses there are still banned. The DOJ sent a letter to San Francisco's mayor saying the city's rule allowing only one worshiper inside places of worship at a time, while allowing several people in other indoor establishments, is draconian. Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone has said the restrictions are repressing religious freedom. On the heels of this disturbing uptick of COVID cases, help is coming from the Trump administration as they deploy 150 million rapid coronavirus tests to all 50 states. How do they work, and can you get one? Camila Bernal reports from the White House.
150 million rapid COVID-19 tests are now set to be deployed to all 50 states.
This does not require any kind of machine. It's very rapid. And this is not one of those deep swab things that people are reluctant to use.
It almost could not be easier. It starts with 6 drops of liquid onto this piece of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the test, twisted 3 times. The adhesive is pulled off, and you wait 15 minutes, and that is the test.
President Trump saying 50 million tests will be sent to communities hit hardest by the pandemic.
18 million for nursing homes, 15 million for assisted living facilities, 10 million for home health and hospice care agencies, and nearly 1 million for historically black colleges and universities, and also tribal nation colleges.
But critics say this is only a small step forward.
It's probably not enough. We need a lot more.
I would rather see 150 million a day, not a month. We need to be close to a time when everybody in America can have a rapid test for free from the government to test their family.
At the White House, I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Still to come on Currents News, Catholic schools across the country are recognized for their excellence. Then we talk to Ed Wilkinson, the editor emeritus of the Tablet, about his long and storied career. Stay with us. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. DeSales Media's newspaper, The Tablet, has been around for over 100 years, and one editor has been an integral part of the team for almost half of that time. Editor emeritus Ed Wilkinson is retiring after 50 wonderful years. Ed, we're so happy to have you here with us today. And first, tell us what led you to The Tablet 50 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm happy to be here with you, Christine, and congratulations on your appointment
Thank
as anchor
you.
here.
I said, you're leaving, I'm coming. What can we do?
This is the crossroads. But, you know, back in 1970, when I first got the job, I mean, I took a job that I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't know what the pay was.
Right.
I was a kid right out of college and the seminary. I had been in the seminary. And so I was interested in the church, and I had a keen interest in the media. I always read newspapers and wanted to be a newspaper guy. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to a priest friend of mine. He said, I can get you an interview at the Tablet. I said, well, that's a logical place to start, church, media, you know.
Sure.
So I went down for an interview. I got the job. They took a chance on somebody, you know, probably I wouldn't have hired myself. But they took a chance and it worked out. They taught me everything on the job, and it was just great, a great place to work.
So would you have ever imagined you'd be here 50 years later?
The first day, I can remember the first day of work. I took the bus from Greenpoint over to One Hanson Place, where we were up in the 21st floor. And I remember walking down the hall and saying to myself, I wonder how long this is going to last. I didn't know what I was going to be doing, like I said, but it just all worked out. I started writing general assignment things, and they taught me how to write journalistically, the style. It took a while to catch on.
Yeah.
But today, I probably, like I say, wouldn't have hired myself.
Well, learning on the job, that's always nice. And what a career. You've met a lot of incredible people. We have some pictures of some of those people we'd like to show everybody at home. One of them was, oh, there he is, Bishop Daly. Tell us about that.
Oh, he's a great guy, Bishop Daly. That's our old set over when we used to film at Bishop Ford. That was a show called Tablet Week in Review.
Okay.
And I was interviewing Bishop Daly. He had just come to the diocese. As you could see, it was a long time ago because my hair is all
I love that picture. That's great.
But Bishop Daly was such a wonderful guy. He was a great human being. He would stand around at parishes and talk with people for hours, and I loved the guy. When he first came, we were all afraid of him because he was a big burly guy and a tough reputation. But what a wonderful human being he was. Really enjoyed him.
You know all the secrets behind the scenes. Now look, I love this picture because there you have Pope John Paul II holding in his hand the tablet.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was in 1995 when the Holy Father came to the United States. He was here in New York. And I had written in the tablet a column saying when the Holy Father comes, he should meet with the Catholic press. We could use a little boost.
Sure.
And so I got a call from the Bishops' Conference in Washington, and they had actually read this column, and they said, you and the editors of the other diocese where the Pope is visiting are going to meet with the Holy Father in Manhattan. So, oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
How exciting!
Yeah. And we went over. I gave him the copy of the tablet. I thanked her for coming to New York and for having celebrated Mass in Aqueduct Racetrack the day before.
Right.
But it was just. What a moment I'll never forget. The highlight of my career.
And I'm sure it was, and I'm sure he kept reading the tablet of all of your articles. And there's one other picture we have, and I'm told you took this picture of Mother Teresa?
That's Mother Teresa, and she was visiting the Knights of Columbus Convention in Manhattan in 1992. And she was, what struck me was she was such a small woman in stature, very tiny, simple words, and she held everybody in the palm of her hand when she spoke. Very simple words. I'm sitting there saying, "This is Mother Teresa,"
Yeah, really powerful.
And everybody listened. Nobody spoke while she was speaking. It was wonderful to meet her, and she's a saint.
What an experience, right? So, what did you learn from working at the tablet?
Oh, working at the tablet, I think, has really, it's helped me in my own faith. It has sustained my faith because I've met so many wonderful people. I've been in a privileged position. I've been out there in parishes talking to people whose lives have been changed by their faith.
Right.
And I think that has sustained me and supported me too in my own faith. That this really means something. Faith makes a difference in one's life. And from our position as working in the Catholic press, we see it all the time. Right. And I have a great respect for the people in the pews. The clergy have been fantastic to me. I had a lot of good friends among the clergy. So I've just had a great time for 50 years. It's been a wonderful career. I wouldn't have changed it at all.
Well, everyone here is definitely going to miss you, and we thank you for your contributions, and good luck.
Thank you, and good luck to you.
Thanks, Ed. And finally tonight, a huge congratulations to the 40 Catholic schools that received the 2020 National Blue Ribbon Award. The honor, distributed by the Department of Education, recognizes a school for exemplary teaching and learning. Catholic schools won 80% of the awards issued to private schools this year. So congratulations to you, and keep up the good work. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. I hope to see you again next time.